call the meeting to order, roll call.
Dixler,
Yes.
Poe,
Yes.
Fuller, Sutter.
Present.
Okay. Item number 3 on the agenda is approve the minutes of the previous meeting, held February 12th.
Move for approval.
Give a second. The move and second to approve the minutes of the meeting of February 12th. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Sutter,
Yes.
Holder,
Yes.
Poe,
Yes.
Dixler.
Yes. Big boss Andy. That's the little boys in Winoka that would really enjoy that. Fun that close. Okay, item number 4 is a motion to convene into executive session. Does any member desire to enter into executive session at this time?
No.
Seeing none, hearing none, we'll move down to item number 9.
Okay.
8, excuse me. The action regarding the audit, Kimberly Meyer, CPA, for the financial year ended June 30th.
Right, you guys took the audits home with you at the last meeting.
Got mine in my pickup.
Got mine by my
So you
bed.
had time to, yeah, I'm sure you did.
Read it every night. Are you all right with it, Ed? I'm all right with it.
You've read it every night.
Before I fall asleep.
Sonia, why don't you point out some things in it for us, please?
We have fine things to point out?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay,
The good things, Sonia.
okay. Well, she makes the same finding every year as far as material weaknesses regarding internal control, and that's due to inadequate segregation of duties. Although we've talked about this before, it's because of our size and the fact that we have one person doing it, but we really have two. And the fact that I don't receive the money, Shelley receipts the money. And then we have dual signatures, but she still leaves it on there because we're a small entity. And
Does she understand how you're doing it?
yes, but I still make all the entries as far as into your financials. I'm still making all of the entries into QuickBooks, so.
So when we get, for a train load, we get paid, that goes to Shelley.
It goes to
And then
them.
She deposits and you make the entry.
Mhm.
So we do have a little bit of check and balance.
And it goes directly to the bank, so there's not a, there
It
isn't a
does never
segregation.
touch my hands, but it's.
She would desire something different.
Well, no, there's just a bookkeeper, but I'm gonna tell you that even then, that's still a material weakness. Even for like Freedom West, for example, they have paid bookkeeper, paid auditor, and everything is segregated. But the size of the organization, it still has the appearance of not much oversight. So
She makes the same notes on that.
same notes on them as well. Same on the industrial authority, same on
She made this same note last year, I recall.
every year. So it's just because of the limited size, and it's just for your awareness. It's not a deficiency or anything, it's just for your notification. The only journal entries that she gave for me to make were where it was a crossover from, we received payment in July for something in June, or where we pay her insurance and it crosses over fiscal years, so. That's counted as prepaid insurance. Anything else that would be of interest? Not really. She notes our loans and that we're current on our payments and how our organization is with AEC, annual payments, when they began, our line of credit, what our balance was, and that was of June 30th of 2018.
The other thing to note is because all of those liabilities are third party, they're not internal liabilities, they're all being paid and being up to date. I get notified if there's a late payment as well as Sonia and the auditors. When the auditor gets the information, she verifies it back against the entities as well. So that's our checks and balances to make sure that somebody's not taking a payment and doing something besides paying down debt.
Anything else in here? Nope.
Do we need to approve the audit?
You need to approve the audit.
So move.
Seconded. Moved and seconded to approve the audit. Any discussion? Roll call?
Sutter,
Yes.
Poe,
Yes.
Holder,
Yes.
Bixler,
Yes.
and I'll need you to sign that we approved it.
Okay.
There's one. I need to do it so I don't forget.
Okay, I'm gonna set it right here.
Have any other comments?
Item number 10, any discussion regarding the temporary building at Avard?
No, item 9.
What am I doing here? I thought we just approved item 9.
No, we approved 8. Now it's an engagement letter to perform the audit for the next year.
Okay.
And the amount will be $3,220 plus a $100 filing fee. And that is $100 more than it was last year. Just under $100 more.
Where do they file this, Sonia?
They file it with the state auditor.
Okay, so you want a motion?
I would.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Todd's made a motion to approve a contract. This is for the next year, ending June 30th,
2019, yep.
2019. Okay.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve our audit. Further discussion? Roll call?
Holder,
Yes.
Poe,
Yep.
Sutter,
Yes.
Bixler.
Yes. Okay. Sign these too. Okay, these are signed. Item number 10. Any action regarding the temporary building at the rail park? It asked me to visit with someone about it in terms of the value. I visited with FM Erickson Steel, told him what we might potentially have as a prospect that might be interested in it. FM's opinion was that it's considerable work to remove that thing, and that if someone was interested basically in doing it, just to remove it, and we wanted it removed, it was probably a good deal. That's how said there's a lot of issues with the height and things like that, taking it down, and insurance and all that, so that creates, for whoever would do it, additional costs. So, the individual that was interested in it, I visited with him this week. I doubt that he got there today. He said he's gonna try to. He said he's also selling some cattle, so forth and so on. With the rain and everything, I doubt that he got there. He's gonna have the engineer look at it, and so that's where it stands at this moment. I don't know what the board's wishes are, whether to pursue it, but I think it's still, there as long as his engineers looks at it and says the building's sound.
And you indicated last meeting that he'd pay about $5,000.
Yes, that's what we talked about. I do not have that in writing though, Ed, because he wouldn't give it in writing yet, and I didn't have the authority to tell him to pursue it. So that's how it stands, and I don't know where we want to go from here. If we want to pursue that, then we need to there's some kind of agreement. How would we do that, son? You ask him for a bid?
What if we just approved that if someone was willing to give 5,000, we would take that? That way it was a done deal if he could give that.
Okay. Is that kosher legally and everything, Ed? Now, one thing FM harped on quite a bit was whoever we dealt with, this individual or anybody else, he said, you better make sure your insurance is up to date, because he says could very likely get someone hurt out there not paying attention when those things, when they start taking them loose. And I said, well, I asked this individual about that, and he said he definitely had the insurance to cover him on that. You know a lot about that, Alan, as far as the liability situation goes on projects. So we'd have to, get verification on that.
Was it insurance or workman's comp, or did he specify what he had?
I said, are you covered insurance-wise in case of any injuries or anything like that? He said, oh, yes. He says,
We would probably just want to request a certificate with us as a holder on that. I mean, that's pretty well all these businesses do that.
okay, so elaborate on that.
Basically, he would just go to his insurance company and say he wanted us listed on the policy as him as an insured agent. I'm an insured person, and I forget how they may word that, but basically he would just put, their insurance company would put
Additional named insured,
Mhm.
that's what it's called.
what?
Additional named insured.
Yeah, it's actually different.
What it does is it covers you in case something happens.
Okay, well, and I can understand when you start taking things loose, some things may fall in different directions.
On the workman's comp, you just want a certificate of his policy.
Okay. All right, so does someone want to make a motion of something? Are you making that motion, Alan, or regarding what you just worded?
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we approve the sale of the building if somebody is willing to take it down for $5,000.
Okay,
And provide insurance.
And provide a certificate of liability insurance
okay,
with the Avard Rail Authority listed as a certificate holder.
okay. Since you're up here with Sonia, if this does proceed further, then you can double check. That works on you.
Mhm.
That, let Alan see whatever he's showing us, if it happens. And then if it meets that, we need to run it by Ed, or,
They're a pretty generic form, we'll know if it's the right one.
okay. Okay, there's a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Seconded?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the, how shall I word that? Potential sale of the temporary building for $5,000. With the proper insurance credentials. You've got written down, right, Sonia? Okay, any further discussion? Roll call.
Poe,
Yes.
Sutter,
Yes.
Mulder,
Yes.
Dixler.
Yes.
Do we not have to declare that surplus?
I don't think we do.
It's a depreciable item that we've been depreciating?
I don't think a public trust has to declare anything as surplus. I'll try to review the law on that, but, you know, the county does, and the school does, and the college does, but a public trust is treated differently.
And see, I read through and I couldn't find anything where it stated that we did. I did try and review that today,
Okay, well, we can,
but I'm not in.
if
so.
it happens, why, you can check it out, Ed, as, okay, item number 11 is our finance report. So I'll turn the floor to Todd.
I haven't had a chance to look at it.
I will go
But
through
it-
it. If you have questions,
Let's
I
just
can
look
answer.
at it before we go.
If you have questions, I can answer them. We had 2 trains come in February that I'm waiting payment on, and I failed to bill them for their rent or their land lease payment in February. So I billed them February and March at the same time, so we should be getting both of those in.
Who would that be?
Martin Marietta.
Okay. Well, it's 2037. Is that venture?
No, that's Martin Marietta.
Well, okay, now I see 2037 in March.
Well, that's when it is. I didn't bill them at the first of the month. I didn't
Okay,
catch
but
it till the end.
they paid it though.
No, you wanna see, all this is showing you as how everything is broken down. It will, when it comes in, that's where it's applied to. You just wanna see how it's broken down.
Well, I assume that these numbers, okay, so these aren't, it's 2037s, haven't actually happened.
They're invoiced, they're not paid. If it's paid, then it wouldn't show up on your accounts receivable.
Okay, I'm looking back here at this other page. That's what- Okay,
So February's been paid, but March hasn't been, is that right, son?
She's gonna issue me 1 check for both.
Okay, so January's been paid.
Yes. As you'll see from their accounts receivable, they owe for 2 trains in 2 months. And in addition to that, they are going to be a sponsor for the Lieutenant Governor's turkey hunt. Just like we did last year, because we are a existing customer with them, we're able to bill them. They're gonna run that through here, pass through to the turkey hunt. So, that's another amount of $1,500.
I guess Shelley in here, but do we expect any additional monies from our treasurer for TI?
For the TIF,
Yeah.
I can't answer that, I'm sorry, I do not know.
Seemed like last year we got closer to 100,000, but maybe this is still a little bit early.
I don't don't think it'll be 100,000 this year.
No, but we haven't received anything in March or April, and see, generally they don't get the second, your second half's not due until March, so,
15th.
April or May.
but March 31st.
You think it'd be lower, Todd? Because that's
It's
what's
been
wrong.
going down, but it's not, that the big end there is, and there's nothing new that's been down in there, we're still writing on that, but they're appreciating that out, I'm sure it's down. Good news is we had 2 trains.
It is good news.
2 months in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And before you ask, no, I do not know if we're expecting trains this month yet.
Wow.
Cause I'm
It's really hard to
slacking,
predict.
cause I'm slacking today.
It's kind of important at the time,
I know it,
so we pay the bills.
you know,
So when I look at this front page and it says we got Bank Central 296, can I take out those accruals?
So the balance after the accruals, remember, is that one down there
40,000.
where it says other? That's the balance after all the accruals, that's the excess after all the accruals.
Okay. So it's kind of a tight fit, but if we get those 2 trains, that'll give us a little bit more.
Yeah. And we're coming into the season where we would get more trains. It's in the season that we would bring some more. The asphalt plant, if they start producing some asphalt and moving some stuff, then they've got a lot of stockpile there.
Okay. Any member have any other comments, questions?
Can we spend about 25,000 a month, just to pay our accruals?
21, 21, 25, if I remember.
I can tell you exactly what I'm saying. Well, I can tell you pretty close because it varies. On it's about 18, a little over 18,000
A month.
a month, and and then that's not taking, any rail car, that percentages, cause we don't know what that is until we know how many trains come in. Remember, 5% goes to, back into this, 5% goes to, or 10% goes to repairs and maintenance, and 5% goes to the committee.
So basically it makes it train to cash flow the deal.
Trains, 10,
Two.
11,000.
So,
2. We get $100.
TIF money gives us,
Some
Oh,
caution.
that's true. Oh, I see. 22 is for the 2.
Mm-hmm. $11,000 per train.
TIF gives us about 8,000 a month. We get up with 90 something.
It's been a godsend.
so then it would be one, yeah,
Yes.
right on.
Yeah, if you take the TIF plus 1.
Yep. And, this month, there'll be a note payment, of which you'll notice, I guess, well, there's 30,000 sitting there, cause we do 10,000 a month. We set back for loan payment, but that will change once I know what the principal and interest amount is, and that gets adjusted. And we just leave that money sitting in there.
So say that, what we know that,
Okay,
loan payment and
So we
interest.
actually accrue a little bit more than we actually
then what we
need.
pay.
Okay.
And so when that balances out, the balance of that just stays there into that accrued. So
If you look on this sheet, Ed,
Mhm.
And you look at those, 10,000, 10,000, and the next one is 6,817.42, because that's all principal. And then if you go straight down, you'll see mortgage, 2,647.78, and their loan interest. And that totals what our loan payment was. And then if you scoot over, it's 10,000, 10,000, and it was 7,273.02. Straight down, 2,192.18. That totals what our loan payment was.
So the theory is that we're conservative, very conservative in our accruals, so that we know that we've got
Yeah,
enough
we've got
money to
money.
make that payment. We're building a little cash in there, that at some point we may need to not build in that particular account.
Now, if I look at that second page, and I know I should be better at this, but are we down, do we just owe $442,000 in loans now? Do I need to add something in?
No, that's all we owe. That is short and long-term liabilities, so that includes our accrued liabilities and everything. That's the total balance of what we owe for everything is $442,413.17.
And that includes the payment that we haven't made yet. Is
That
that right?
includes the payment that we haven't made.
So that's net net. So if we wiped out our accrual accounts and put it all down on interest and principal, that's the balance that you would end up with.
No, because we haven't. Yeah, I guess I thought it,
Yeah.
because I took it.
So in about 2 years, we might have that paid off. And this board will be looking about what we need to do with that income of $10,000 or $20,000 a month. So, I mean, I think we need to look
Infrastructure.
at some ideas of, do we want to enter infrastructure? Do we want to help out some other economic board? But maybe it's a little bit premature, but when we owed $4.3 million, I wasn't thinking about what we could do. Do you have some ideas, Sonia?
Infrastructure.
What particular?
This could be, because there's, I don't know if any of you read the comments that I made to, and you maybe you don't agree with them, but he asked me, he didn't ask you, from the reporter. And I was very serious in regards to the BNSF certification, that we are kind of, I mean, because we are a pay-as-we-go facility, we don't want to incur more debt. In some ways that hindered our growth, because we're kind of maxed out on infrastructure until we build in. So,
What's the number one infrastructure item when a company considers coming that they wish you had, or we had?
depends on the company.
There's several.
Yeah, depends on the company.
You know, they want roads inside the park, and they want rail inside. Biggest benefit to us is rail inside the park, because that infrastructure stays with us. We get to put it on our balance sheet and use it. And it doesn't go up, it stays with us.
It's
About
any type-
water? Oh, is that a water problem?
If
Water.
there's any type of manufacturing, then it's water.
And then at some point, we're gonna have to figure out what to do with the wastewater. Because there's no lagoon system, that's gonna be an issue at some point. As long as we just bring the rock in, that's not a big deal. Or if it's just a transportation, if there's any manufacturing, we're gonna have to figure out what to do with water and wastewater. In additional roads.
I don't know if you've seen it, and I will get you a copy of that one that we put together in infrastructure proposal, and we've met with all of our federal and all of our state legislators and presented that to them, and I was gonna do this in my report, but we've kind of jumped ahead to it, and Firth wanted to make sure and let us know that about 2 weeks ago, he said he wrote a letter to our new lieutenant governor about Avard and included that packet with him, and then he emailed me a copy of that letter, and I'll forward
Now,
it to
who
you.
did that? I didn't read.
Firth
Okay.
opted,
Who did he send it to?
our new lieutenant governor, so he's aware of the park and what our needs, and what we're trying to do. And
We might be able to show them that park, or
during the turkey hunt, maybe.
depends, everything would have to go right.
I have a meeting scheduled with with Commerce the 29th. When I go to the city, for new Commerce people.
We're so dependent on Martin Marietta. I don't know what percent of our income comes from them, but more than half, I would assume.
Oh, yeah. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
70–80%.
But we get that 100,000 from TIF.
Yeah. I guess it depends on how many cars they. Probably is. I think Venture is,
They paid a year, remember,
okay.
in advance.
So,
But just my personal feeling is, you know, if we had a company that wanted to come in and we needed to spend some money, it's a good company, good finances. I'd entertain that.
And that's kind of the concept, Ed, of why we have this Avard Regional Rail Park Authority accrued payment, where we've been setting back a percentage of the rail car charge, help build that for that exact thing. So we would have some money sitting there to help recruit a business or something in there.
How much do we have in there?
Right now, we have 45,000, 150, because we've been taking 5% of the rail car charge.
We got, what, in repair and maintenance at over 150?
Right, we have 131, now 45 of that was our insurance claim, but we have $85,801 that we've set back for repairs and maintenance. I mean, I think we've really been trying to be fiscally responsible and stay ahead of everything.
I don't think there's any question that's right. If you get the right company and they bring in, you know, that we would be interested in going to the well and figure out how to fix it. The biggest problem I see with that is that takes time. You know, we were a year or so with construction engineering costs trying to make that happen. You know, these companies that are coming into us at some point, I think that's the reason we have to work on infrastructure and getting some infrastructure in place at some point in time. Some basic infrastructure that everyone could use, whether it was one spur into the park, you know, in one particular location, so that you could sell that location. So that was already in place, so you wouldn't have to go through the engineering and the cost of building that. Then you'd have something else to show in your wares. You know, right now we show them blank land and say this is a blank palette that can be painted on any way you want. And that's great, as long as they have the time to do that.
Well, one of the things you might want is to have Rod Graham come in and help you with that plan. He could go ahead and put it together, and then if you did have a customer, you could show them those plans and say this, you know, but before you have a customer, you don't know what they want, so.
Building rail's very expensive, you know, and you know, we think that's and I agree, I think that's a great idea, but knowing where to put and what to put is a really, you know, because you put it one place and you come in, somebody comes in, they want twice as much and they want to take twice the land, and that's exactly the wrong spot. So you, I mean, you can't, you know, you build it and they will come or not. But I I'm tickled that we've saved as much as we have, as lean as things have gotten after we put this together. You know, we're still in pretty good shape.
It may be
Yeah.
just me, but, you know, you asked Ed what I think probably that our first important thing would be building in Martin Marietta. And the reason I think so is because that's your anchor tenant, and once we start building into the park, then it's gonna be nearly impossible for them to utilize that existing track to offload their trains, because you're gonna be driving over every all your other tracks coming in. So, and I don't know, maybe that's something to ask Rob about, and he can tell me how we get around that or whatever, but I see before we can build for other people, we need to find a way to build in for them, because we're gonna take their track away.
Well, that makes sense, and then you build a new company off the temporary track with the rail that we've put together for them. Biggest problem that you got there is they still have to have access to interior. We'd have to either build track both, you know, all the way through, so you can have access to the interior of the plant, or to their,
And for it to be long, big enough where they're located.
for a unit track.
So,
It's going to be a mile long, which means it's going to have to wrap around somewhere.
Well, if you built it around that perimeter, that would solve a couple of your problems.
yeah.
You'd have an offload facility for just somebody that wanted to come in and move something off. Also give them,
Does Rob ever come to this part of the state, or would he be available for us maybe just to visit with
He
him?
would be available whenever, when we need him to. I know he's working on a project, I think everybody someone in Tulsa. But he'll come over here. I mean,
And what, Todd, roughly would be the cost like on a mile?
Today, I wouldn't even guess today.
Well, what would it
Well,
been previously?
the thing about it, that's
Wouldn't
gonna
it
be
be-
just a little bit different, is this will be on our land, so it doesn't have to meet BNSF's specs.
We could use we
Rail.
could use used track and used rail and use 90 pounds instead of 110 or 115 pound rails. It would be quite a bit cheaper.
I thought we used for the,
We
Well, we
use,
did, but it had to be.
we use some of the existing, the 90 pound on the north track, which in hindsight, I've never, we have used it on the south track,
And
but,
we have a little bit of that left too.
yeah.
I wouldn't want to guess. There's going to be a lot of dirt work that has to be done down there, because if we go around Mount Martin Marietta, which they don't want to, I would guess that they're not going to be willing to give up any of their leased
Right.
land. So we'd have to go about that. If you remember on the east side of that, that's a low area where that creek is. That's going to
Yeah.
have to be, we have to do that. And then we'll have to figure out how to either loop around to get through their truck traffic, either it goes all the way around, or if it just loops back to the south.
You know,
I'm not sure how that works.
and I think this is what you mean, because we talked about this at one time, and Rob even showed us a example is where we looped the entire park.
yeah,
And that presents problems
Yeah.
just because of trying to get trucks in and out through that, through that live track. Even though it's not an active track, it could be a road track.
but can Rob give us some estimates, maybe? Or get us in the ballpark?
Well, that proposal, we got those estimates originally when we put that whole proposal together. And we could take those rail numbers and find out, because that included rail all over the inside on that $25 million project.
Yeah, that was on the Spurs with the loop.
Wasn't it
I mean, I think our waterway, that,
$5 a foot or something like that?
I can't even remember.
I can't remember either.
And I would have to, I would go back and look and see what we got.
I'd
And
kinda
I
like
can
to
call
talk-
him and find out, how close we are.
He'd come to one of our meetings and it didn't cost us anything. I'd like for him to come to one of our meetings.
Rob would be glad, he'll I'll just give him a reason.
well, I think you're probably still on go for that waterway that comes down there that Todd's talking about you'd have to cross. I think the commissioners are still willing to work with us on right, and then this pond that's gonna have to go into, am I correct on that, Sonia?
Mhm.
So, I mean, we get a little help there on the dirt work, I mean, for at least the waterway portion. I mean, I don't know how that, well, we'd have to have some kind of little bridge-like situation, Todd, is that?
Something. I mean,
Crawford, maybe, or Forum,
Yeah.
they're probably not big enough.
I mean, it'd be hard to speculate exactly what it would cost.
It'd be like that, well, that crossing that's already there on the track, right?
The
That's what we
the
would
concrete
need.
deal.
Well, yeah, that, and then there's the one that goes across the 16-inch
Gas line.
Yeah.
It was very costly.
Yes. So we'd have to,
Anyway, that's far exceeds the finance report.
I moved to approve the finances since I finally understand them.
what about building the railhead, is that included in there?
It is not.
Okay.
If Graham would come and see us,
I got it on here.
I'd second the financial report.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the finance report, roll call,
Sutter,
yes.
Poe,
yes.
Over,
Yes.
Dixler.
Yes.
Todd does an excellent job being a
I don't
banker.
do anything. That's what he does all that.
All right, Sonia, you're up next.
Very well, just about covered everything.
How's your turkey hunt going?
Well, mark the date on your calendar, Dan.
I think I got it on a previous meeting.
When is it?
April what?
10th, 11th, and 12th.
So what are the nights,
10th
10th and 11th? Okay.
And as soon as I know the lieutenant governor's schedule and what day he'll be there, I'll let you guys know. But it would be preferred if you guys could come. I mean, both nights would be great.
Wouldn't miss it.
Okay.
What about the shotguns? They gonna be auctioned off, or
You're a landowner, right?
some days I am, yes.
If you're a landowner, your name will be in the hat to potentially win one.
You can just buy one if you wanna take a chance. That's what
You probably, Stan, you probably put the First State Bank of Winoka and Stan together, because they might have divvy on that gun. Is it Core Bank now?
Yes. I better clarify that. Yes, it is Core Bank. Okay. So you need anything of these board members, Sonia? 'Cause
I'll send you info as soon as I have it. The Alliance legislative event is March 25th from 5 to 7 at the Oklahoma History Center. We have a lot of new legislators that need education about Northwest Oklahoma.
It's an outstanding event if you've never
If there's any
been.
way for you to be there, that it would
The,
be,
the first thing is the History Center is incredible if you've never been there. And the second is, it was very impressive last year. They showed, the legislature showed up.
lots of new legislators there, so, I mean, we need to really educate them about our needs in Northwest Oklahoma and how they rely on our natural resources.
Back to the turkey hunts, Sonia, who's some of the people that this board needs to know that are coming, like Martin Marietta?
Martin Marietta, and they're bringing a guest actually with them.
who's coming with Mom Marietta?
I'm sorry, Stan, I don't have the list in front of me.
Was Freddie coming?
No, Joe Mathiah. He is the one that is covering our area again, except for with the county commissioners. Freddie's handling the county commissioners, and Joe's trying to rekindle that relationship.
I really miss not seeing Freddie there.
He will not be there. He got promotion.
Promotion.
And who else might we be interested in?
BNSF
Burlington
will be
Northern.
there, yes, BNSF will be there.
Janet Black, no?
Janet will be there. I haven't heard yet from Rocky, but Venture has been invited. I haven't heard from them yet.
It's Rocky,
Countless.
No, Seibert. It's Seybert.
You know those.
I know well where he is.
anybody else?
He got ran over by where she
I
ran
was
back.
trying to think of
Oh,
who it
really?
is. I can send it out to you, so you know who's coming.
What about some of the companies?
We're waiting on RSVPs, Dan.
Okay.
That's what we're doing this week, is following up, seeing who's coming, who's not coming.
You've always had such a great turnout. Very impressive.
Well, thank you.
Sonia and Alex probably are the two ones that do the most work.
I think some of these guys do a lot of work.
Do.
They do a lot of work.
What about Todd Lamb? Well, and he still brought his daughter up here and got the bird and,
Last year when he was lieutenant governor.
yeah.
Our new lieutenant governor, I believe, has a son that he's gonna bring with him.
Okay. Anything else, Sonia?
No, okay.
What about any new business? Does any member have any new business they'd like to be brought before this board that's not recognized on the agenda? Sonia?
No.
But any remarks by our citizens?
They both kind of look sleepy.
What about Rocky? You got any remarks, Rocky?
I just do that for you.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. Roll call.
Holden, Code, Sutter, Bridgewater.
Stay.
No.